The floor is really spaced out right now. We're just continuing to make the right play and trusting in one another.
Austin, it's Brez. I mean, you guys are right in the middle of it. Such a crazy part of the schedule. How are you guys staying up right now? How are you handling all these games in such a short, compact time? You guys are doing great the last 2 days, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, winning helps a lot. Anytime you win, you're happy. But anytime you can come out here and play the game you love is fun. And your body might be sore after the game, might be sore tomorrow. But anytime you get in this arena, or really any arena, and you feel the energy, you're just out there ready to compete and give it 100%.
Awesome. Rob Orr here. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How you doing?
Hey, man. Let's play some ping pong, man. I think I got you now. So when we're going to get together, tell them to take that pool table out or put a ping pong table on top of that, and let's go at it.
They put one in? You let me know when. Yeah, they put one in.
Okay. All right, so who's your toughest competition on the team?
I ain't played nobody, to be honest with you. I'd rather go play golf if we're being honest.
I knew it was golf. See, everybody always asks you about golf. See,
I shot a 67 the other day. Yeah, I shot a 67 the other day, so we're hitting the ball well right now.
67, okay. That is nice. Oh, by the way, I know you don't like Jackson Hayes, but I know you're so happy for him on the way he's playing basketball right now.
Oh, man, it's a beautiful thing to see, but like you said, we're not great friends.
Austin, thanks for taking the time, man. We appreciate you.
Austin, just starting with the stretch that you guys are in right now, obviously no excuses, but what stood out to you most about this one and the job you guys were able to do?
I just thought we, played hard, stuck to the game plan, and we continue to build that chemistry, and I think you can tell by the way we're playing. Everybody's sharing the ball. Luka obviously causes so much, havoc for teams' defenses that the majority of the time you got to blitz him, and then you're playing 4-on-3. So it's a fun brand of basketball, and after a long road trip that we was really bad on, it's good to get home and get back to winning.
I know you talked to the guys in the studio about the 34 assists, but just in terms of the overall chemistry, without two of your starters, for example, how are you guys able to kind of make it seem so seamless?
I think it's just a next man up mentality. We got a lot of guys in here that know how to play basketball, and I think when you do create some type of an advantage, it just becomes about making the right play, and I feel like we've done that the last couple nights. So it's fun.
They don't often rely on you to have to score a lot. Tonight you had 30. What was it like to have that kind of an offensive game?
It's fun. I mean, I really just like winning at the end of the day, regardless of what they ask me to do. Like to win, and that's really the fun part about team sports is winning.
What's the thought getting Denver again so quickly after playing them to the last minute there last week?
We know we're going to come in and they're going to be prepared, and it's going to be a war like it always is. They're a really good team that has really good players that play really good together, and I feel like we have the same, and we got to be locked in and ready to compete on both ends.
Have the last couple of years the postseason matchups, does that bring a different regular season feel to the game?
I don't think so. I think every game is different, but you have the same mentality going in, and it's win. Obviously, they've kicked our ass the last couple postseasons, and we want to return the favor, but you want to beat everybody you play.
Goody, what impressed you most about this win, just from start to finish for your club?
Basically, just winning on the back-to-back and having guys out and still having that energy. Still find a way to compete and get wins. So,
obviously, no excuses. But are you feeling kind of the stretch that you guys are in from a physical, mental standpoint?
Me personally, I haven't been thinking about it, trying not to think about it. Just trying to get extra treatment or whatever it is I can, so my body can be prepared to play. But it's definitely, you can't. It's here. We in the middle of it, so you feel it. But we here though. It's okay.
When Luka first arrived, I think Dorian described the kind of shots that he creates as butt-naked, wide-open threes. Seems like you've received a good amount of those tonight. I guess how open do you feel in those moments when you're, when Luka's creating, when Austin's creating, and you just have seems like all the space in the world or time in the world to shoot.
I think that's why I be mad when I miss something. We get wide open. They don't even contest it most of the time because you got everybody in the paint kicking it out. So, think though, right? You definitely be butt naked open out there. So, yeah.
How have you seen Austin just be a linchpin on offense for this team and just his energy on a nightly basis? Like, what has he meant to this team since you've joined it?
Always like they are. He came out of college and everything like that, but like he's our third option. But like I said, he's better than most ones, most twos in the league. So we got to keep on putting respect on our name because he's him. He's one of them ones. So yeah, he's one of them ones.
When did you realize he was this level of player, whether it's college or playing from afar?
This is my first time playing. I guarded him for the other 2 years. I was in the league, so I had to match ups with him and stuff like that. But it just shows. I mean, he's doing it. We think what the game was. Luka and Brown was out. What do you have? 36. Showed he can lead a team against the Denver Nuggets. So man, he's just that, and he keeps getting better, and he keeps showing you everything he got.
Is there a benefit to having just seen, obviously, the Nuggets less than a week ago and getting them again in a couple of days?
We definitely lost a close one, a heartbreaker. So I think the benefit of that is definitely going to have us more amped up to play the next time we see him. I know I'm definitely going to be ready to go for it. So definitely bring motivation because we just lost to him. See what's the difference from that game plan to this game plan and just see if we can execute it better.
Hey, Luka, how encouraged have you been about the shot quality that you guys are getting on offense and kind of the way your teammates are learning to play with you and what spots to be in, Jackson returning, Austin on the weak side, all of those things. What's encouraging to you and where do you feel like is the final piece?
Yeah, I mean, people start learning that at some point in the game, they're going to double team me. So like I always say, I accept that and I like playing that. Saves my energy. And, you just got to play 4 and 3. And I think guys are doing great out of that.
Luka, you guys play Denver on Wednesday. Obviously, just coming off the recent game in Denver, but this franchise has history with them. I know you have a relationship with Jokic. Kind of how do you view them as a opponent to be reckoned with in the Western Conference?
Look, I think the team that has Jokic on is always dangerous. With him on the court, there's always danger, and it's hard to play against him. He knows all the tricks. He's an amazing basketball player, but that's fun. That's fun for us. That's a challenge for us, and it's fun. We like challenges, and I think it's going to be a great game.
Luka, JJ told us that I think 70% of the threes you guys created tonight were uncontested. Wide open, as Dorian would call them, butt naked, wide open three-point shots. For the shot quality to be that high on a night when you particularly didn't shoot it very well.
No, terrible.
What does that say about the potential for this offense? Also knowing that you've got, 40 points a game or whatever it is between LeBron and Rui on the bench waiting too.
It just shows the team we have. I think we share the ball very good. When we play with pace, it's very hard to stop us. And, like you said, open threes are, when you have that many open threes, you should win the game and you should make threes. So we just got to keep playing like that and share the ball like we do.
Last week, JJ told us that he wanted to get more off-ball movement, specifically for you and AR, installed into the offense. It seemed like you guys were able to get to that, not just tonight, but even last night, especially early in the game.
For me?
Excuse me?
For me, off-ball?
Yeah, like you coming off ball, like screens off the ball, and then eventually getting the ball.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm kidding.
What do those actions do for you and do for the team when you're able to operate that way?
Makes my life easier. Those actions that he put. There was one ATL today that we ran it twice, and it was just for an alley-oop. So that explains JJ's mind, the way he sees basketball. It's amazing. But just me and AR coming off the ball, it helps me and him and everybody else because we do it with pace. It's hard to stop us.
Luka, Dalton Knecht had another solid game tonight. He led the team in scoring. What have you seen from him during your time here that's helped impact winning?
Who you said?
Dalton.
Dalton, yeah. He had a great game. he had a lot of great games. He's learning how to play. I'm learning how to play with him, and he's a promising rookie for sure.
Luka, čau. Prvo vprašanje je mogoče, koliko se trenutno zabavaš, glede na to, da vidimo nasmejanega, tudi kar nekaj heca je bilo v slačilnici prej, koliko se trenutno zabavaš v novi ekipi?
Super je. Mislim, da ko bi rekel, vsi v slačilnici so super. Velike zafrkavanja, rečem zajebancija, ampak počutno se super, vsi so me sprejeli super, tako da je top.
Še vprašanje povezano z Denverom. Na zadnje, ko si igral proti Denverju, ste zmagali, to je bila ena pomembna zmaga za ekipo, pa tudi za tvoj prihod. Koliko se veseliš igrati proti Nikoli?
Ja, mislim, te tekme so zmer težke. Meni težke tekme so zmer ekstra motivacija, tako da zelo se veselim te tekme.
Luka, you obviously had a lot of admiration for LeBron and had watched him play growing up and stuff like that, but I'd only seen Austin a couple times a year when the Lakers would come through Dallas. It seems like the two of you guys are finding chemistry in pretty good ways on the court. What do you like about the way he approaches the game?
I mean, this guy just scored 30 in his 4 games in 5 days. That explains everything. But he's an amazing player. For him to go undrafted is unbelievable. And, it's not easy to go undrafted and then play at this level. And it's amazing just to be by his side.
JJ, there are a lot of nights in the NBA where your one team is going against a team that's shorthanded, and there's just kind of that mental hurdle tonight. Like Minnesota lost at home, Golden State loses at home. Why do you think you were able to kind of stem away from that and stay locked in on a back-to-back like this?
I thought there were stretches that we played good defensively. We lost, our way at the end of the third, start of the fourth when they went on that run, but the way we were able to generate good offense, and I think it was 48 threes and 34 were uncontested. Just our guys' ability to connect, and Luka leading that with 14 assists, and probably could have had 18 or 19. But to have another game with 30-plus assists, I thought our offensive decision-making and consistency, where we had 4 really good offensive quarters was great.
And then with Luka kind of doing his thing, you also had Austin attacking sometimes on the weak side, sometimes as primary. What did you make of how kind of deadly he was with what he was?
Yeah, I think just the Luka and having Austin as the next passer a lot of times. So when there were 2 on the ball, or they were double, or were in a heavy shift from the nail, having AR there as the guy that can either shoot or create the blender with his thrust on his drives was really good. And then that group that was playing end of first, start of second with Dalton and Vando, just playing out of our horns, our movement stuff out of horns. We got some really good stuff out of that. AR, Dalton, Vando, all of them.
To shift ahead to the next 2, how much will you reference what happened on the road against those teams? Not even motivation, but you had different personnel as you prepare for the Wednesday game against Denver. Looking at that game you guys just had there.
Yeah, I think against Denver, you're going to reference it a lot, because there were things that we did really well that we think we can emulate again, and then there were some things that we didn't do well. And particularly with that game, our transition defense has to be better, and then we have to do a better job of protecting the paint against Milwaukee.
JJ, I don't think you'll play a lot of games necessarily where you'll shoot almost 53s and 70% will be.
I lost you there for a second.
Let's do the
I'm going to
math.
play no games. I'm not going to play any games. I'm done.
Feels more like a Mike question than one for me. But the thing I'm wondering is are you guys unlocking stuff offensively in terms of, that was always going to follow kind of the defensive part of it, but are you seeing that guys are getting more comfortable playing with Luka, finding the right spots, the cuts, the when to flare and all of that stuff? And is this maybe a harbinger of the things you guys can be offensively?
Yes, and I think for us to fully unlock our team offense, we need to be whole. Again, going back to our group and their responsiveness to everything throughout the season, they generally have done an outstanding job. When we've challenged them on certain things, they've responded. I think Greg has done a really nice job with not a lot of court time over the last few weeks, in really breaking down on film what we want our spacing to look like versus blitzes in pick and roll versus doubles in the post versus doubles from the nail versus fires from the top. Like we've done some really good things against that. And then just if they're not going to double and they're not going to blitz, like our packaging around that has I think been good. And even in some of the games where we haven't necessarily had a great offensive rating, you can kind of attribute that to turnovers and missing shots. I mean, even just the last 2 games, our rim efficiency was really, really poor. I think we were like 10 for 23 at the half against Denver, and it wasn't great yesterday against Phoenix either. So I think it's all going to come together where, we're finishing, we're passing, we're taking care of the basketball, and we're making threes. But pleased with how we're able to generate good looks fairly consistently.
I think it was after the Brooklyn loss. You mentioned, either before or after, you mentioned wanting to install more off-ball actions or taking them from ATOs and installing them just part of your regular offense. Seems like you guys had an emphasis on that these past couple of games, especially doing it early. What does that do for your offense when you're able to get AR or even Luka coming off of screens, coming off a ball, and they initiate actions that way instead of do pick and rolls or just?
I think with AR, it's just like getting a body off of him where he can really not have to work as hard with the dribble to create an advantage and get downhill, and obviously he can make threes off screens too. With Luka, I think the off-ball stuff is really good because if we do a good job of forcing over and setting screens, he's catching the ball and he's already got the angle, and it's not trying to create an angle from a static position. So that's been good. And then the last thing, I think tonight was a great example. When you're running some off-ball stuff as plays, then you can layer in different options out of ATOs, and our guys executed some good stuff tonight.
Thanks, Coach.